If you're gaining weight over the age of 45, I get it. I've been there. I know what it's like. I know how hard it can be. I've lost over 20 kilos and I've kept that off for 16 years. And I actually coach people to do the same thing at our fitness facility here in New Zealand. And what it comes down to is that it's probably about 5 habits that you're currently doing right now. You may not even be aware of them, okay? And they are the things that are stopping you from losing the weight as you get past 45, 50. And because we're talking about habits, I want to read you a really awesome poem. I am your constant companion. I am your greatest helper or heaviest burden. I will push you onward or drag you down to failure. I'm completely at your command. Half of the things you do, you may as well turn over to me, and I will do them quickly and correctly. I'm easily managed, but you must be firm with me. Show me exactly how you want something done, and after a few lessons, I will do it automatically. I am the servant of great people, and alas, of all failures as well. Those who are great, I have made great. Those who are failures, I have made failures. I am not a machine, though I work with the precision of a machine, plus the intelligence of a person. You may run me for profit or run me for ruin. It makes no difference to me. Take me, train me, be firm with me, and I will place the world at your feet. Be easy with me, and I will destroy you. Who am I? I am a habit. Now, that is pretty powerful. That gives me goosebumps when I read that. And this is one of the things I share with people in our fitness facility who actually sort of come into us and wanting to lose a lot of weight. And the thing of it is, if we don't take control of our habits, we are literally at the mercy of our habits as well, right? So let's just jump in, and I'm going to tell you the 5 habits that you're probably doing now, and I'm going to show you exactly how to fix them, okay? So let's jump in. Skipping strength training. Now, this is a habit of not doing something, okay? You're not exercising in the gym. You're not lifting weights. You're not, supporting your metabolism. Because when you lift weights, and I know people will say, I'm not a gym person, I don't like the gym. That's cool, I get it. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Because lifting weights will help build muscle tissue. And muscle tissue is an active tissue. It means it burns calories while at rest. And after the age of 30, you lose about 1% of your muscle mass every single year. So by the time you're 45, you may have lost 15% of your muscle mass, which potentially could be a 15% drop in metabolism, right? So if you're not strength training, then you're leaving a lot on the table. I know you don't want to do it, and I know you're not sure what to do, but hopefully with me making these videos for you on my channel, I'm going to start talking about these things moving forward. Now, if you've got no idea where to start, and trust me, I know a lot of people over 45 that don't, comment strength and I will send you a strength program over for free, okay? It doesn't cost you anything. It's one email address. I'll send it to you by email. And I will take you through a whole set of exercises that work every single muscle of the body and that you can do in as little as half an hour, 3 times a week. It is only an hour and a half per week, and you're going to start to build some of that muscle back, okay? So comment strength, I'll send that over to you. Then what you do is you teach your body the exercise habit, the strength habit. And when you change it and you control it and you keep on doing it, your body will start to enjoy it. It just does. We all know that exercise is good for us, and you just got to get over that hump to do it, right? So habit number 2, you don't eat enough protein. And I get it, there's protein everywhere. Everyone knows you don't eat enough protein, and it may seem captain obvious, but the problem is you don't, okay? And I know you don't because I see it all the time. So what you need to be doing is eating protein. And a really nice way to do that is think of this in your mind, get in the habit of eating protein at every meal, okay? Sounds a lot, I get it, but there's lots of really good protein supplements out there. You can do it through food as well as good. But a really good rule of thumb for you is if you lift your hand up, do it with me, okay? This size of your hand and this thickness is the size of protein you need to eat with every single meal, okay? So you could have 3 main meals and have a piece of protein that's big. A little bit more if you want is fine, all right? Or if you're going to track your protein through MyFitnessPal or an app or something, take your height in centimeters, and that is how many grams of protein you need, okay? So I'm about 174 centimeters, 174 grams of protein, and that's going to be a really nice target for you to aim for, okay? Number 3, and this is like across the board, people over 40, 45 don't sleep very well. They either stay up super late, and you may be doing that as well, and then they get up super early, or they can't get up in the morning at all. And then they find that their sleep pattern's terrible. They're always exhausted, zero energy. But one of the biggest things that you can do is set yourself a sleep schedule. And I don't mean a wake-up schedule. I mean a go-to-bed schedule. Hear me out. If you get into the habit of going to bed about an hour earlier than you do right now, providing you are a night owl, right, you will start to feel way better because our bodies need sleep for a start. And when you sleep, you regenerate. What also sleep does as well, it controls your hunger hormones. So we've got two sets of hormones that regulate hunger, ghrelin and leptin. Ghrelin is the hunger hormone, okay, which means that if you're tired or you're stressed, your ghrelin will go up, making you more hungry. I used to be a shift worker, and I worked in the police for 21 years, okay, and I was fat in the police, and I also lost all my weight while still being a police officer and still, and losing weight as well, and still doing shift work. And what I found was, as long as I understood my hunger hormones, I was able to eat relatively normally, but I was able to stay full as well. And I used to recognize that the more tired I was, the more hungry I would get. And if I was hungry, I always wanted sweets and biscuits and chocolates. Because it had lots of energy to keep you awake, right? But I would recognize that and I would choose things like fruit or some nuts and things like that, would tuck the edge off, give me lots of energy and kept me going. So sleep is so important. So if you're not sleeping, set yourself a go to bed schedule. Now, the other thing you can do as well is that people say, I can't just go to bed at 9 o'clock. I go to bed at 11 o'clock. It's 2 hours. I get that. So what you do, you set yourself a bed alarm 10 minutes earlier than what you do now. So let's just say you go to bed at 10 p.m. Set an alarm tomorrow for 9:50 p.m., right? Or 9:55 if you want. And you break it down in little increments. So every day you might go 5 or 10 minutes to bed a little bit earlier. And what you'll find is that over a course of a couple of weeks, okay, you might set, let's say 9:30, right? It's an hour. You will start to sleep better. And because you've done it incrementally over the course of a couple of days or a couple of weeks, your bodies will start to shift a little bit, right? So it's a really nice way to do it. So you've got to get some sleep, team. You've got to get some sleep, important. Number 4, and this is sitting too much. Now, let me tell you a quick story. I had a lady that came into for a consultation a little while back. And she was about 115 kilos, very, very overweight. Not a very tall lady, but very overweight. And she said, no, it doesn't matter what I do, I just can't lose weight. So we had a bit of a discussion, and I found out she was an office worker, and she sat down for 8 to 10 hours per day. Then when she went home, she sat down some more, okay? So she didn't actually do a lot. And in fact, her average step count per day was about 2,000 steps per day, which is classed as highly sedentary, okay? But she said to me, really interestingly at the end of the conversation, she said, but my husband though, he can't put weight on. I said, oh, that's interesting. She said, yeah, he's really slim. I said, okay, tell me about your husband. And she said, well, he works in a warehouse and he's always moving. He does about 25,000 steps a day or something like that. And it doesn't matter what he does, he can't put weight on. And then I said, well, that's the discrepancy. You're both at two ends of the spectrum. You're highly sedentary and can't lose weight, and he's highly active and can't gain weight. And the thing is in the middle. She needed to eat less calories to be able to lose weight, but also the big thing for her was to move more. She needed to go for a walk, get to 5,000-6,000 steps per day. And he needed just to eat more because he couldn't change his job, right? But that was all it was. But when you look at it, you've got to start where you start. And if you sit down a lot, you've got to recognize that. I mean, even me as a personal trainer in the gym, I literally sit down for a lot of the day. So I do my exercise before and after work. And even when I was in the police, I would sit down in the police car for 10 hours a day, right? Because I was sedentary. But what I did was I understood that I needed to get my steps in. So let's just say you start at 2,000 steps. That's what you're doing currently right now if you got a tracker. Then you just do 4,000 steps. Because anything that you do on top of what you're doing now is going to be beneficial. No one's expecting you to go to 10,000 steps from 2,000 steps because it's unsustainable. So you create the habit of every single day, I'm going to do 2,000 steps. Might take you 20 minutes, but then you just schedule a 20-minute walk every single day, do that, right? And if you do that, you will then find yourself with more energy for a start. You will find yourself being fitter. You will burn more calories off, okay? And you will feel a whole ton better by doing that, I promise you. And number 5, last habit is you have zero clue how many calories you currently eat. And we are terrible at eyeballing some food and thinking it's enough or too much. And I'll give you a really good example. And I want you to do this. I don't want you to just listen to me and just not do it. Go and get yourself a weighing scales. And I want you to grab an apple, okay, because it's the easiest thing to do. In your mind, I want you to say, how many grams is that apple? Just pick it up and go, it is 100 grams. Then I want you to weigh it out, okay? And I want you to write down what you said it was first. So let's just say it's 100 grams, right? But the apple is 300 grams. 100 gram apple is about 80 calories. But a 300 gram apple is 80 times 3, okay? 240 calories. So you might think in your mind you've had a 100 gram apple, and it's only 100 calories, but actually it's 240. It's more than double, all right? And if you did that 3 times or 4 times in a day by just misunderstanding how many calories in that meal that you had, you could potentially be 250 to 300 calories off, right, per day. Now, over a course of a week, that could be nearly 2,000 calories. So 300 calories times 7 is 2,100 calories. You could be 2,100 calories in a surplus every single week just by not understanding how many calories are in your food. Give you some perspective. I only eat 2,000 calories per day, and I exercise probably twice per day, and I'm training for a triathlon, okay? So if I only eat 2,000 calories per day because I track it and know it, you certainly can't if you're not exercising, okay? So you've got to understand how many calories in your meal. And if you can get into the habit, the only habit I want you to do is read the food label on the back, understand how many calories it is, and if it's in kilojoules, divide it by 4 to get the calories, and then I want you to weigh some food out. Maybe you only do for a week, okay? But at least that week will tell you exactly how many calories that you're eating. Because if you weigh an apple and it's 240 grams, not 100, then you've got a bit of a problem. But with knowledge comes understanding and power, because you will then know that that is how many calories, that has this many calories. Then you will understand how many you currently eat. And let's just say you work it out and you currently eat 2,000 calories per day and you're maintaining your weight. Then all you need to do is drop your calories by 300 per day to start losing weight again. It really is that simple. Then you got to become consistent with that, okay? So as you go through this video, they are my 5 habits. Just remember, you need to create these habits in your day, because the habits you're probably not doing right now, and you've got the converse of that, okay? So it could be you're in the habit of not weighing and tracking food. You're in the habit of not doing cardio. You're in the habit of not going to bed early. You're in the habit of not strength training. You get the idea? So you've got to become in the habit of doing those things, because as we said, be firm with me, or I will destroy you essentially, okay? And it does. Bad habits destroy people's lives. Alcohol, drugs, obesity, all those things, right? So that is my video for today. I'm going to leave another video up in the corner for walking for weight loss, where it's going to help you design yourself a walking plan to lose some weight, all right? And like I said, if you do want a copy of my strength program, comment strength down below. I will send that across to you. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you on the next video.